Reviews. I'm JINXREVIEW, and today I'm going to be talking about Deathnote. For those of you who don't know, Deathnote is an anime that was really popular basically between 2007 to roughly about 2010. It's still popular now. It's not on TV anymore. However, it is on Netflix. It is all over the internet. Um, so you can find it there and you can check it out for yourself. But my job is to give you some information on what the show is actually about. Death Note started out as a manga that was run originally in Shonen Jump in Japan. It originally was not expected to do well at all. It basically, the creator Sugumi Oba basically wanted to make a story that was different because he didn't feel he was well versed at making fighting style manga, which is what shonen was kind of known for at the time. But he also wanted to work with Shinigami, death gods, for those of you who don't know what that means. He came up with this idea, this suspense thriller, and then he, sent it off with a pilot chapter, and surprisingly it did extremely well. Um, then it turned into a serial run for 108 chapters. Then those chapters were taken by Viz and published here in North America via 12 books in April of 2005. And then in Japan, starting October 3rd, 2006, the anime series was created and ran, I believe it ran on Nippon TV, and then this was actually kind of interesting. At the same time that they were running this, roughly about a month after they started running on Japanese television, they were actually made available here in America via direct download through Warner Brothers and Viz. So it was the first time they ever really did that. So you got to watch the series as it was running in Japan, as opposed to getting it way after the fact. It didn't hit American television until October 20th of 2007, and then 1 month after that, it was released on DVD. The series has been very popular for a number of years. It has spawned 3 live-action movies. It has there are 2 light novels, like just actual written books. There is obviously there's the anime, which is what I'm here to talk about, and there's the manga series. Now the interesting thing about this is that the manga, the anime, and the live movies all are almost the exact same thing. Like they follow so closely to each other that it's not like you're going to watch this thing in one format or see it in one format and then you go to, let's say, an American comic book movie, for instance, X-Men First Class. You're not going to have a situation to where they take a character that doesn't really appear until way later in the manga version, and then they just pop them in to the movie or the anime. So that was kind of cool. But what this anime is about is a story that follows this object called the Death Note, which is basically this thing that just looks like a regular notebook, only if it belongs to a death god. It is a book that they use to write the names of people that are supposed to die and how they die and things like that. And they really kind of flesh out the rules for that whole situation later on in the manga as well as the anime. But one of these books gets stolen and just dropped on Earth. Just because this one death god, Ryuk, just wanted to see what would happen if human beings were given a death note. So he drops the book on Earth, and then himself goes to get the book, and it ends up in the hands of Light Yagami, who is the main character. Uh, the pronunciation of his name is kind of up in the air. I think it's either Yagami or Yagami, depending on uh, probably where you're from and your understanding of the Japanese language. I don't know. The series follows basically Light trying to use the Death Note to create a better world. Like, and this is one of the elements that I find so interesting about Death Note is that the story is not following the good guy. Uh, Light Yagami is killing people with with this book just because he thinks they're wrong. So he's doing it somewhat out of a sense of justice, but he's not a good guy. He's, it's still murder, which is what really the whole story is about. Is that he starts doing this. It eventually gets the attention of um, the, I think it's the Japanese police force, and they basically are trying to figure out who he is to stop him from murdering people, uh, and they're trying to figure out how he's doing it, and that's a big thing. Is there's this whole suspense. Are they going to find out? Are they going to catch him? Are they going to figure out it's him? Does it? And is there going to be this like big thing? Is it just him? Because later on you find out there are other characters, Misa Amane, as well as some people that are in a later section of the show, like this. I think it's the second season or third season or something like that, of the show that also utilize the Death Note. So it's not just Light, and it's just kind of one of those things where you get to see different you get to see different versions or different ways of using it and how different people use it. Um, and you also kind of get to see this battle of wits in throughout the series between L, which is essentially his nemesis, as well as later on L's proteges. So it's this constant battle of wits that makes it interesting and keeps you just enthralled and intrigued by the series. And then it's also one of those things where I'm a little bit weird. I am I'm a believer that if there is a situation that somebody cannot escape from, they should not escape from that thing. Like as far as movies are concerned, or animes or anything like that. So I like this series because it doesn't have a happy ending. It's very it's very different. Uh, so it's to watch it and to realize that you're almost rooting for the bad guy, and then you know but to know that you're rooting for the bad guy, to know that they're a bad guy, and it's just kind of like it's almost a struggle, like with your own morals, which is kind of like I said, it just keeps it interesting. So if you do get a chance, go on Netflix, go on the internet, go to Viz, go to your local Best Buy, uh, you know, any of those places you can get Death Note. Check the series out, watch it, enjoy it. Um, Feel free to comment and tell me what you think about it. And as always, don't forget to subscribe, like, and/or comment. And I'll see you Monday.